I want to show you how to paint a stormy sky, and this will be a seascape. So I want a really dramatic sky, and if this is something that you would like to have a go at, it really is quite simple, and even if you're a beginner, it's really quite achievable. I've got the colours on the screen that I'm going to be using, and it's only a handful of colours. I was contemplating on doing this in a monochromatic painting, but I just wanted to add a little bit of colour as well. So there's not too many, just a very few different colours. And I always like to start using, in the sky, I always like to start with a yellow ochre. And you may notice I've got a piece of masking tape as well, which I'll show you what the reason is for that. But at the moment I'm just concentrating on the sky using a little bit of French ultramarine, and then this is a Payne's grey and neutral tint mix. So I'm just adding some dark, really dark, dramatic sky now. So these are really thunderous clouds, the sort that you see when there's going to be a storm coming. These are threatening clouds, and so I'm adding really dark. And don't worry at this point if you're going to do this sort of painting, the paints do dry a little bit lighter. So what I'm doing now is just adding a little bit of clean water, not too much water in the brush, just rinse a little bit of the excess out, and then just go into that dark and start moving it around and blending it with the other colours surrounding, just so you got this nice softer tones. Oh, and by the way, I did wet the paper before I started, so just using this small hake brush, I added the water just spread across the paper, but not everywhere. I wanted just a few parts of the paper wet, so then it offers more blending, and so you get these nice tones. And you can see how much water these hake brushes do handle. Just for added interest, I like to turn my board on its side so that I can get some of these colours mixing and coming across the paper rather than straight down. And I've just touched into a tiny bit of burnt umber, so I want a little bit of the brown in those in that sky. So not too much, just a little touch, and then just waited for the paper to dry. And then this piece of tape running along the bottom of the sky. This is where I wanted to get the sea. So it is a seascape, and this gives me a really clean edge. I know I've tried to paint sea before, and it's been sort of, it looks more of a rocky sea than what it is. It's not really straight, but you want to get this as straight as possible, and so that's why I use a tape. And now I'm using a drier brush, so again still with the hake, and you want to take your time doing this. You just want to use as little water as possible, but just go across, and it don't really matter how many times you do this. If there's not enough water in the brush, then you'll get a lot of white of the paper showing. But just dip in and add a little bit more water, and just keep going across, and that's all you need to do. It's quite simple to do. And then just a few rocks I'm gonna introduce into the foreground, and this is going to give me a nice contrast, and it's just going to give a little bit of interest as well. You got quite a dramatic sky, and I don't want to take away from that. I want that to be the main focal point, the main feature of this painting. and so I'm just adding a little bit of detail just to balance the top and the bottom really. So just adding a really dark mix of the Payne's grey, a neutral tint, and just a touch of that burnt umber for these rocks. And I'm just adding rocks here, there, and just a few here and there. So it is a rocky beach, and it reminds me of some of those beaches you find down in the south coast. And then just with a credit card, you can use any tool for this, but I do enjoy using the credit card. It works for me. Obviously, if you use the corner, you get these little marks, and then if you use the flat of the card, then you get these bigger scrapes. And so these are the highlights for the rocks. So really simple to do. Just if you've never done this before, just a little bit of practice, and you'll be surprised how quick this technique you can learn. It really is quite simple. It's just about timing. You want to get the paint while it's not too wet but not too dry, sort of in the middle somewhere. But again, that's up to you. Just add in some tape now. I just feel like I need to add just a few distant headland, and so I'm using the tape again just so that I don't go into the sea area, so I do get that nice clean edge again. And then I just want to take out with the clean damp brush, just so that this distant headland, it looks like it's going away from us. It looks like it's lighter on the right hand side, and so it just gives that little bit of depth as well, even in the headland. And that's just a really diluted mix of the Payne's grey and neutral tint, and that's it for the headland. I just want a little bit of a suggestion more than anything, just a suggestion of depth and distance. And then I'm just going in with a really dark mix of Payne's grey neutral tint, just sticking to those darker colours. And I'm just adding this to the rocks in the foreground, especially underneath the highlighted areas. So it gives that little bit of depth, and it helps the rocks. It just helps them pop, and it just really gives it a 3-dimension to the painting as well. And so that's quite easy to do. Just carefully going around. I don't want to cover any of these highlights. They're quite nice, and so you just want to enhance these highlights, and so they do look like rocks. And it's the same again on the left hand side. I really do hope that you find this video useful. If you find it helpful in any way, please do drop us a comment. I'd love to know your thoughts, and also give us a thumbs up if you do like this one. Don't forget to always keep a little bit of tissue to the side, or anything to just lift out some of that pigment. And now just removing the masking tape, and it really is that simple, this one. If you've not tried anything like this before, if you are a complete beginner, then why don't you try this one? You really might be quite surprised. If you don't get it right the first time, don't worry. You can always try again 2-3 times. But I guarantee if you do give this one a go, you definitely will be surprised. It is easier than you may think. Just relax, enjoy the painting, and I'm sure you can make a painting that you could be quite happy with, quite proud of yourself. But that's it. I think there's just one thing missing. There you go. Just had a few birds in this. It is a seascape, so there's always birds by the coast. So I want to make these quite big wings. So these are sort of seagulls or whatever. But that's it for this this video. Please do subscribe if you're not subscribed. You can check out. I've got a playlist for beginners on my channel. But if you do like this one, please do drop us a thumbs up and drop us a comment. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye bye.